What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into all things Big D rumors, signings, analysis, and the road to bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas. Today's episode is one of the most exciting we've done in a while because we're not just talking hypotheticals, we're talking about real, serious noise surrounding the Dallas Cowboys 2025 free agency plans. And the names being tossed around are guaranteed to stir some passion in every die-hard fan out there. We're talking about three major targets reportedly on Dallas's radar: Amari Cooper, Stefon Diggs, and Kyzir White. Yeah, you heard that right. There's a real possibility that Cooper could reunite with the Cowboys. Stefon Diggs might line up opposite CeeDee Lamb and catch balls from Dak Prescott, and Kyzir White could become a key part of Dan Quinn's aggressive, hybrid defensive scheme. So let's talk about what's real, what's possible, and what these moves would actually mean for the team, not just on paper, but in the locker room, in the scheme, and on the field come September. Starting with Amari Cooper, this is a name Cowboys fans know all too well. Cooper was traded to the Cowboys in 2018 and immediately helped elevate the offense, giving Dak Prescott the consistent, reliable outside receiver he badly needed. For years, he was the focal point of the Cowboys' passing attack, and it was his crisp route running, solid hands, and veteran savvy that allowed the offense to evolve into a multi-dimensional threat. He posted back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2019 and 2020, and while his numbers dipped slightly in 2021, he was still a major contributor. Then came the trade to Cleveland in what many fans still believe was a mistake, a cap-saving move that left a hole in the offense that still hasn't been fully filled. Cooper did solid work in Cleveland, but injuries and quarterback inconsistency made it hard for him to match his best years. Now, reports say that Dallas is considering a reunion, and the move could make perfect sense for both sides. For Cooper, returning to a system and quarterback he knows could revive his production and extend his career. For the Cowboys, bringing back a proven veteran with established chemistry with Dak is a low-risk, high-reward move, especially when you consider that Cooper won't command the kind of elite WR1 salary he once did. We're likely looking at a 2-year deal, somewhere in the $12-14 million per year range, which is reasonable given the market and his age. Of course, the risk here is that Cooper is turning 30, and he's had nagging injuries in recent years. But if the Cowboys want to avoid putting too much pressure on CeeDee Lamb, who's entering his contract year, Cooper offers an easy fix. He knows the routes. He knows the system. He knows Dak. There's almost no acclimation time. Plus, this move would allow the team to continue to develop younger guys like Jalen Tolbert or Jalen Brooks without forcing them into roles they're not ready for. Now let's shift gears to the other big-name receiver swirling in the Cowboys' rumor mill, Stefon Diggs. Yes, the older brother of Cowboys star corner Trevon Diggs. And yes, the same Stefon Diggs who has been one of the most productive and electrifying receivers in the NFL over the past decade. From his early days in Minnesota to his explosive prime in Buffalo, Diggs has been a consistent deep threat, a reliable route runner, and a vocal leader in every locker room he's joined. But 2024 was rough. After being traded to the Houston Texans, Diggs suffered a torn ACL midway through the season, cutting short a campaign that was already off to a slow start. For the first time in years, he looked mortal. Now, coming off injury, he's likely to hit free agency with something to prove, and that's exactly the kind of player the Cowboys have loved to target in the past. Think about it, a motivated veteran, a family connection to one of your star defenders, and a clear role in a pass-heavy offense that needs WR2 production. It's a story that practically writes itself. The upside of signing Diggs is massive. If he returns to even 80% of his pre-injury form, you're looking at a guy who can still beat man coverage, run every route in the book, and turn a 10-yard slant into a 60-yard touchdown. Pairing Diggs with Lamb on the outside, with Dak throwing the ball and Pollard, or a replacement RB, drawing attention out of the backfield, gives Dallas an elite-level offensive core. But of course, there are caveats. He's 31, coming off major knee surgery, and probably still sees himself as a W-Rome. If the Cowboys want to bring him in, it's going to take finesse. A 1-year, incentive-laden deal maybe in the range of $16 million with performance escalators is likely the only route. That way, Diggs gets the chance to rebuild his value, the Cowboys protect themselves if he's not 100%, and Trevon gets to play alongside his brother, which could have a positive locker room ripple effect. But Diggs is a personality. He's emotional. He's outspoken. And if things don't go his way, there's always a risk of disruption. So it's a delicate balance, but one that could absolutely pay off if the team handles it right. Now let's turn to the defensive side of the ball, because while receivers dominate headlines, the Cowboys know they need to improve their depth and toughness on defense, especially in the front seven. That brings us to Kyzir White, a player whose name doesn't carry the same weight as Cooper or Diggs, but who may actually be the most strategic addition of the three. White is a modern hybrid linebacker, fast enough to cover tight ends and slot receivers, strong enough to shed blocks and stop the run, and smart enough to read and react in coverage. He's not a superstar, but he's a glue guy. The kind of player who doesn't get talked about much but who makes your defense work on third down. The Cowboys have a needed linebacker after injuries and free agent losses depleted their depth. Micah Parsons is a unicorn, but he can't do everything, and you want him rushing the passer, not covering tight ends 20 yards downfield. Leighton Vander Esch has been in and out of the lineup with injuries. Damone Clark is promising, but still developing. White would fit into that rotation perfectly. He could be your nickel linebacker, your dime defender, your emergency safety in disguised looks. He gives Dan Quinn more flexibility, and that's gold in today's NFL. Plus, he won't break the bank. A 2-year deal worth around $10 million total could lock him in and give the Cowboys much-needed insurance in the middle of the field. He's the type of move that flies under the radar in March but pays dividends in November when you're facing a playoff-caliber offense and need a guy who can cover Travis Kelce over the middle or shoot a B gap to stop. A critical 3-yard and 1. What makes all three of these potential signings even more compelling is the Cowboys' overall cap and roster situation. After making some savvy restructures and letting go of aging vets, Dallas enters the 2025 offseason with significant cap space, reportedly over $50 million, depending on how the numbers settle. That's enough to make 2 splash moves and still have room to fill gaps. That means signing Cooper or Diggs doesn't prevent them from also bringing in White. It doesn't force them to get other positions. And with the 2025 draft already behind us and no wide receivers taken early, the message is clear: the Cowboys want to compete now. They're not rebuilding. They're retooling. They believe in Dak. They believe in Lamb. They believe in Micah. And they're ready to take a big swing, maybe two. And what's especially exciting about this free agent class is that none of these moves require mortgaging the future. You're not handing out a 5-year, $100 million contract to a 27-year-old hoping he ages well. You're making strategic, targeted moves that boost the roster now without compromising the team's long-term flexibility. These are smart, calculated risks. And they just might be the missing pieces to take Dallas from good to great. So the big question is, will they do it? Will Jerry and Stephen Jones actually pull the trigger? Will they bring back Cooper for a full circle story? Will they roll the dice on Diggs' comeback and bet on brotherhood and chemistry? Will they make the kind of quietly brilliant signing that a player like Kyzir White represents? Or will they let these opportunities pass and once again rely too heavily on internal development? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: if the Cowboys want to be more than a one-and-done playoff team, if they want to make real noise in January, these are the kinds of moves that need to be made now, in July, August, and September. The window is open, but it won't stay open forever. Let us know in the comments: are you Team Amari? Team Diggs? Or do you think the real difference maker is someone like White? Do the Cowboys need to go all in on offense or balance it with smart defensive signings? Drop your thoughts, hit that like button if you love football talk, and subscribe for more weekly breakdowns as we track every move the Cowboys make this offseason. Thanks for watching, and as always, how about them Cowboys?